average 5 years of achievements during military career to provide dedicated service for your police department. Qualifications include a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice, comprehensive field training, and extensive experience in safety patrol, security details, undercover investigations, and public service activities. With both of these paragraphs, you're giving the reader an idea of what's to come. With the second one, they're specifically listing their skills. And then they'll go into listing the accomplishments that go with those skills later on down their resume. So with your experience, you're going to include, if you decide a chronological resume, you should include your job title, the employer or company name, the city and state in which you worked, and the time frame, so the dates you were employed at that particular company. When you're writing your experience, try to write in the STAR statement format. And then think of terms in terms of your accomplishments rather than just giving a job description. STAR statements, the situation, task, action, and result, right? Is that a new phrase to most? The situation, what is it that happened, right? What were you asked to do? The task, what did you actually accomplish? The action, how did you do it, right? That's where your adverbs and your action verbs would come in. And what was the result? That's where you will want to quantify. Use numbers, percentages, dollar signs. Numbers, as best as I can put, numbers speak volumes, right? And you'll want to, when you include numbers in your accomplishments, you'll want to use the numeral versus spelling out the number 5. As you can see, 5 versus 5. Use the numeral. The numeral is going to stand out on your document. It's going to draw the reader's eyes away from a sea of letters. And it will highlight that particular accomplishment. Make sure you're civilianizing your military experience. Unfortunately, if an employer can't understand what it is you've done, you might as well not put it on your paper. Like I said, there could be dozens to hundreds of potential resumes that come across a human resource person's desk. If they can't understand it, you really don't want to be making more work for that person. And stay away from your acronyms. Make sure that we understand what it is you're talking about. As you're writing your resume, try to highlight the increase in your responsibilities and duties. Promotions, things like that. Make sure that the most important duty titles, your most important jobs held, are seemingly at the top, so that stands out to the employer more. Use your job description, use the job description as a cheat sheet as to what you're putting in, what keywords and phrases you want to put in those accomplishments. Emphasize your transferable skills. We know we don't have 100% of what a job description may be asking. Highlight those transferable skills. Are you good at teamwork? Are you good at managing teams? Are you good at time management and leadership? All skills that you've gained if you've ever been in the military, right? Highlight those skills and think of accomplishments that go with them. Target to that specific job announcement. I can't say that enough. If you're not talking directly to that job announcement, you're leaving the HR person guessing as to what you're qualified for. And that's not going to bode well for you getting an interview. You're going to want to list 2 to 7 accomplishments per job description, with each being about 2 to 3 lines at the max. Show progression, so show increased responsibility. Put the most amount of accomplishments in your most recent job title or experience. If you go with a functional or a combination resume, you'll want to make sure you have your strongest skills up at the top with the strongest accomplishments to match. Start each of the experiences, each of your accomplishments with a different action word. use those action words, use those verbs, use those keywords from the job announcement, and that'll be a good start. So, experience examples of what you could use as your accomplishments. Remember, we're phrasing this in a situation, task, action, result format. So, prepare data processing plans with budgets for an organization of 150 personnel with 98% accuracy. The third one down, led law enforcement activities, including physical security, arrest procedures, and criminal investigations, reducing community crime and incidents by 10%. Last one, administer the maintenance and movement of aircraft and support equipment, saving over $1 million in a 5-year period, earning the Air Force Achievement Medal. I've really stopped myself from asking if there's any questions. Next, you'll list your education and training. Now remember, like I said, if you are using education as a key qualifier for a job, you can put this above your accomplishments or skills. So education is rather straightforward. You're going to list the name and location of the school, the date of the graduation or the date you received a diploma or certificate, your degree, and the major or minor in concentration. For training, just the name of the training, the location, and month and year. You may also decide to put under training or education whether or not it was done in person, through correspondence, online, things like that. So these are just some ideas to your formatting for your education and training. Skills, you can add a skills section only if they're relevant to the job. Or if the job announcement specifically asks for someone who is bilingual. Or you can type a certain amount of words per minute. Those are definitely skills to add into your resume. Computer skills, make sure you're specific and accurate with the skills you have. Whether or not you have a certification or you've had training, those would be things to list. But remember, be specific and be accurate as to what skills you do have. Honors and achievements, you can decide, this is totally up to you whether or not you include honors and achievements. It could be, if it's relevant, add it. If you need space, if you need, more to add to get to that one page, no more than 2 pages on your resumes. So if you need more information to get down to that one page, then absolutely add them if they're relevant. Any academic awards, professional affiliation, even board positions, volunteer positions, any major, and with volunteering also, with volunteer positions, you may decide if you have a gap in employment or if you've obtained certain skills from a volunteer activity, you can use that as job experience right along with your jobs. For instance, a Girl Scout leader or maybe a treasurer to a church. You can definitely add those skills or accomplishments that you gained in that volunteer activity. But here's some examples of how you can format your honors and achievements. Pretty simple and straightforward. Stack them, put dates, or even just list them. Okay, references. Do you include your references in with your resume? No, you don't. Don't do it. Hang on to your references until you are called or asked for them. One thing about your references, make sure the people know that you're using them as a reference. The last thing you want is for someone to get a phone call to have a conversation with you and they're thrown off guard. The potential employer may ask for professional references, they may ask for personal references. Professional references is going to be anybody that you've worked with. Personal references would be anybody that you've known outside of your family. You don't want to include family members in that. You will more than likely need their contact information, their name, possibly the position. If it's a professional reference, you'll want their duty title or their job title, what it is they do, a phone number where they can be reached, and an email. As I'm asking permission from my references, I have always included an attachment of my resume that I've submitted with that particular job and the job posting. That way, you're kind of guiding the conversation of what you want your references to have a conversation about. What experience have you highlighted on your resume? What is the job asking for? And maybe they have something to add that will push you up over the edge, right? That maybe you haven't thought about. So it's always beneficial to provide to your references the job posting and the resume that you have submitted for that particular job. And I also would keep people updated as to the progress in the job, in the employment process. So if you haven't received a call back, or you receive a call and you're having an interview next Tuesday, email your references and let them know, like, hey, I got an email on Tuesday, or an interview on Tuesday. I'm not sure if they'll reach out before or after, but I'll keep you updated. Just so they're looking out for you. Okay, so some basic information and things not to offer, and probably shouldn't be asked in an interview or by an employer. Your age, your race, your religious or political affiliations, your marital status, names, ages of children. That's just weird to me that anybody would ask that. Height, weight, or photograph. Probably not a really up and up business if they're asking for any of this information prior to or after an interview. The salary of previous jobs. Some employers may ask for your past salaries. It's okay, however, offer a range of salaries rather than a particular number. Specific salary information may hinder your ability to adequately negotiate a fair or suitable compensation later on in the process. Once you learn more about that particular position, you can then begin to kind of get an idea of what your worth is versus what they're willing to pay, and be more willing to meet them in the middle versus them assuming that because you've only made this amount of money in the past that you're willing to work for that again. So just something to keep in mind, that you will may be in a position later on to negotiate, and you don't want to give away too much too soon. Religious and political affiliations. Just remember that as long as you are staying relevant to the job, you may decide that if you're applying for a job at Remington, right, they make ammunition, then maybe your NRA membership may be beneficial to that. That might set you apart from another candidate. So things like that may be something that you do want to highlight. But for the most part, age, race, political affiliations, marital status, children are not anything to share prior to getting into a job. All right, follow-up. Should you follow up with an employer after you submit a resume? It is perfectly okay to give them a call 24 or 48 hours after you've submitted your resume. This is a really great chance for you to just say, hey, did you get that resume? Did I submit it to the right person? Was there anything else you needed? And kind of get in and network. Ask questions, right? When do you think you'll be making a decision or reaching out for interviews? When can I expect a call back? So things like that are definitely okay to ask about and may set you apart from the competition. Just one more thing that may set you apart from the other candidates. If for some reason you call after you submitted your resume and they say, well, yes, we received your resume. Unfortunately, we've decided to go with another candidate. Use that as an opportunity to network. Okay, I understand. Are there any other openings coming available soon? Are there any relevant positions to the one that I applied for? Have you had a chance to look at my resume? Is this something that I should pursue? So remember, every phone call you make, every contact that you make is also, on top of your resume and interview, is also being judged. So just make sure that you are using this as an opportunity to network and kind of get your foot in the door, if you will. So that's all we have for you today. If there are no questions, we'll go to this last slide. Our email address with the 913th, we have an org box there, 913ag.amc.airmanfamily@us.af.mil. You can reach out to myself, Lindsay, or Mike Rudisil, our employment coordinator, and ask any questions. We're available for resume reviews and any help you need. Thanks.